will never die. More to the picture than meets the eye. Hey, hey, my. There's more to the picture than meets the eye. God and AI. AI and God. You know, there's a universal language and it's all to do with frequency and vibration. And the funny thing is if you take a word and you reverse it, it turns into its opposite. So if you take a word like dog, dog is God turned backwards, right? And the difference between dog and God is a dog always does what it's told, it obeys. And God always does what God, or nature, wishes. It's the opposite of dog, right? And the word for God in the ancient Egyptian was Io, I-O. And in the Jewish language, the Semitic language, there are no vowels, okay? The vowels are assumed because the meaning of the word is not contained in the vowels, only the flavour of the word is contained in the vowels. And so when you have an O, the vowel O, Io means the highest God, the highest God. Io is God. And Ia with an A, Ia, means the personal God. Okay, Ia. And if you turn Ia around, it becomes I, A-I, right? And I means fear. That's what I means, fear. Fear everything. And so, in the absence of God, the opposite of God is fear. AI means fear. Fear that you're not going to get the thing done any other way. You haven't found an easier way. Fear. In the absence of God, there's nothing but fear. That fear can be overwhelming fear, which can give you heart palpitations and panic attack, yeah. Or it could just be a disquiet where you're fearful to be in the room because you don't know quite what's going to happen next. And you're a bit worried about what the rest of the people might be thinking about you, whether you're going to be able to hack it with what you say in the next moment. Okay, so there's a vast majority of people in the world living in fear. And there are a few who God has saved them from their fear, who are living fearlessly without fear. Take 5. Hey, hey, my. All we fear is AI. More to the picture than meets the eye. So you see how songs can evolve over time, and singers would change the words as the occasion, the time suited. Okay, And the time we live in is a time of AI, and so to understand more fully what this AI is all about, really. And so it's about telling what to do rather than doing it yourself. Okay. So you're going to apparently speak to the AI. This is going to be a very strange thing to see everybody walking around talking to their phone, speaking to the AI, but this is probably the way you're going to want to do it. And the same way as you go telling men and women and boys and girls what to do, you're going to tell AI what to do like a dog, okay? Like you throw a dog a bone, get it to bring it back to you. Yeah? You teach the AI tricks. Okay. A free person can never do this. A free person doesn't tell other free people what to do. The whole idea of talking to something and telling it what to do is absolutely and totally against all nature, God and nature, because it's a kind of a avoidance of work, really. It's a, why should somebody who's got nothing better to do than tell something else what to do be given the privilege of doing this? Why doesn't it just do something useful? And is there joy to be got from telling others what to do? Isn't it a bit of a, just as much a problem for the teller, the bully who is telling, than the person who's getting told? Because the person who's being told, they're going to go away resentful of the fact, and then the bully's going to be thinking, oh, I wonder if we did that yet. I wonder if we did it properly. I wonder if we did exactly what I said. And so the quest to have perfect servants who do whatever you tell them to do. Yeah? Do we need servants? I think not. There's not anything that I use a servant for, and I wouldn't even use a servant to service my car if we were a society who was organised such that we could service our own cars. It's only the rich who can service their own cars because they're the only people who've got the facilities, the garage to put it in, the lifts to lift it up with, the tools and all the equipment required to work on a car. Yet we could give ourselves that. I live in a little neighbourhood here, and why don't all these people here, maybe 20 houses or so, why don't they have a garage here, yeah, where anybody can take their car and work on it, use the lifts, have a place where they can throw the old oils and everything, rag basket and things like that, and just have a place where they can do the service work themselves. Why don't we keep the necessary plumbing equipment and the sort of things that require to be done from time to time? We can do it ourselves, yeah? And it's not often one needs an expert. In fact, now that we have YouTube, there's nothing that you can't do for yourself with a quick instructional video. Why not learn all these things? Isn't it more interesting to learn everything in life? The more you learn in life, the more you can do, the more interesting your life is. Yeah? I mean, when I got older, I didn't know much about actual electricity and computer electronics and things like that, but I knew all about programming and the software side of it. So I decided I'd just fix amplifiers and fix electronic equipment, rewire motor cars and do all sorts of things like that. I could learn this stuff. My father was an electrician, and so it's kind of in my family makeup. And so, computer software is just an evolution, if you like, of electrics, and electronics is an evolution of electrical work. And so, for us all to know how to do this stuff, it's not brain surgery to fix an amplifier or something like this. And if you can't do it, there's a local group here that operates close by to where I live here, and you can, once a week, they have an open meeting, and you can go there and take anything that needs fixing, and there's people there who will help you fix it. If you can't do it yourself, they'll probably do it for you. But you can watch and learn how to fix these things yourself. So you can take them an old record player or a guitar that needs fixed, or camera or something like that, and somebody will be there trying to help you, or bicycle, something. And so the people are starting to move in this direction. It's away from AI really, and it's more about doing stuff for yourself. And I don't think that anybody needs to be served by anybody else. There's no reason why you should be served a meal. I never go out I used to, but I never go out for a meal now. I never go out and sit at a coffee shop and have a cup of coffee. Never. Unless I'm travelling on public transport or something like that. And if I go in my car, I normally take a vacuum flask, which happens to be full now. I have a bit of coffee now. And I can stop and have a cup of coffee. And when I get to my boat, I can make my own coffee down there. And there's no need to make other people your servants, you know? And even to have an AI, to make an AI your servant, goes completely against the grain. To learn, to teach yourself how to tell something, to tell others what to do. Before you know it, having trained yourself on the AI, to tell the AI what to do, very soon you'll be telling your mother what to do, you'll be telling your father, you'll tell your brothers and sisters what to do. You know, you'll be making yourself into some big shot who tells everybody what to do. And I'm sure Elon Musk doesn't tell people what to do. You'd be surprised how things work in real good companies. Elon Musk doesn't tell people what to do. I'm sure of it. I'm sure that Elon Musk just empowers people to do what they feel that they need to do. If they've got any problems, they can discuss them with Elon. So, Elon, what about this? Oh yeah, maybe this, maybe that. You know, everybody sits in the round and they just say what they think. How is AI going to sit in the round? You get 5 or 6 or 10 AIs all sitting in the round, expounding on where SpaceX should go next and how to fix this problem with the thruster number 4 or something. You understand? It's not going to happen. It's not going to be. It's not interesting, yeah. And often I wrote programs for myself. This is what AI. People are trying to write AI because they think that'd be nice to be able to write AI programs, to write programs that do stuff with AI. And actually, after you've written the program to do stuff, you think you're going to use it. But very soon, you stop using it. And you don't use it at all. I've got loads of programs I wrote for myself. I hardly ever use it. The only one I use is this thing that makes videos for me. I've got loads of other stuff that I wrote. I never ever use it. And it was only really, I only did it just for my own interest really. I didn't know at the time that's why I was doing it, but I was interested in solving problems, yeah. And so by solving these problems, we're learning, okay. And so the people who are working on AI, these are the future people who are going to be understanding God better. At the moment, they're working on AI. Like when I was a young man, I worked on computer programs, big systems and stuff like that, and it was really, really hard work. You had to be logical. Your brain had to know the difference between good and evil, because if you got evil bug in your program, you know, you had to find that evil bug and chase it out. The same as if you got some wrong mistake in your own mind. God puts you inside your mind. So you can't focus on what's that. All you're focusing on is your own error until you fix the error. And to fix the error, you need to understand the difference between good and evil. Am I doing good or am I doing evil? Oh, now I understand. That's not the way to behave. Oh, I see. And so, you know, you make some moral judgment about your own behavior, you decide to change it. And in this process of change, you acquire virtue. As soon as you acquire virtue, say, God says, great. Now I'll give you your happiness back. I'll give you some good fortune, yeah? Instead of having an accident in your car, God will take your car away and give you an even better one for less money. So good fortune is something that exists in the world, yeah? And things are either getting better or they're getting worse. A person's life is getting better or it's getting worse. Just like going up or down a mountain. You're either going up a mountain or you're going to the bottom of the sea. These are axes of a dimension, okay? Getting better and getting worse is another dimension, like space and time. And God controls, God, nature, there are laws of nature that control the getting better and the getting worse. And this is related to virtue. And as a man is virtuous, so he acquires happiness and he acquires well-being, he acquires everything that he needs to live, not more than that, but enough. He acquires a nice lady, he acquires a boat, a car, a chariot. He has to have all these things. A motorbike, the guitars and cameras that he needs to do his work. All of these are tools that are given to the initiate as he progresses on the journey. And they're objects of rank. If a man has the things that he has around him, signifies his success, not with men of the world, but his success with God, his own personal relationship with the creator of everything. And the creator of everything is creating the happiness within a person. You can't create that yourself. Or it's creating the despair in a person. There's two departments. There's the happiness department and the despair department. The despair department, that's the devil's department, yeah? And God is in control of that too. And the very worst person in the devil's department is the devil himself. The devil isn't God. The devil is the lowest human being, subhuman being on the planet. That's the devil. There's not just one of them. There's many devils. Normally they're shooting up heroin, they're doing stuff, doing bad stuff, yeah. They're in politics and they're lawyers and accountants and stuff like this. You're surprised who the devil actually is. But the devil isn't happy. The devil knows no happiness. Doesn't matter what he does, he's never satisfied. And he'll progress on the pathway downwards, lower and lower and lower. Look at the journey of the rolling stones, rolling downwards. And the main devil leader of the Rolling Stones, Keith Richards. If you ever joined the Rolling Stones, you became a slave of Keith Richards. The devil has his slaves. Yeah? And Mick Taylor learned this. Mick Taylor joined the Rolling Stones and became Keith Richards' slave. And you can never remember the devil's name. As soon as my brain has to turn to say Keith Richard, it's gone, because the devil has no name. Did you see the movie The Witches of Eastwick? You should watch this movie, The Witches of Eastwick. There's lots of truths in it. The devil has no name. He has a penis that goes in the wrong direction. There's all sorts of things about the devil that are universal. Okay? And the devil is real. The devil's pathway, the downward pathway, it's a terrible journey. We've all been on it. We've all been on it to a certain depth. If you go on it beyond a certain point, there's no coming back. You have to go through terrible purification after death, terrible. And you can be finished after death. So we should be fearful. The old philosophers used to say, fear God. The fear of God was the beginning of wisdom. Okay? But nobody believes in God. And so when you say to people, fear God, how are they going to fear God? They don't believe God exists. So you have to know about God before you can fear God. So that doesn't really work anymore. And so what you have to fear is you have to fear where you'll end up. how low will you go? Keith Richards hit the bottom and he came back out of it, and he's not as bad as he used to be, Keith Richards. He's quite an interesting, nice man to watch on the YouTube now, to be honest. But he didn't used to be like that. He used to be a lot worse. And to go as far as Keith Richards went on the downward pathway, nobody wants to do that. And knowing what I know now, all the years I spent on the downward journey, if I'd have understood what I understood now, I would have changed in an instant back then. I would have, if somebody had been able to tell me what I know now and just advise me and said, don't do that because this and this, I wouldn't have done it, you know. I might not have done it. But because our generation, all this knowledge of God and the church and philosophy, psychology, all of it has been lost. My parents never went to church, didn't have any teachings about this. They were taught that you got a job and you go and work every day and do what somebody else tells you to do. That was what all they knew, yeah. And the only life you can make for yourself is on the weekend. And so they had nothing to teach us. So we were just like born into this world with no elders to lead us. And my elder, the person that led me initially, was Bob Dylan. I used to sit and listen to all his records, and he was my moral compass point when I was a child, 12 years old. And so later in life, I came to a realization about myself through Krishnamurti. Krishnamurti was a great philosopher who came in the 1960s. Some people said he was the Messiah. He was prophesied that he would be a Messiah when he was just a child. And he did. He walked the whole world and taught everywhere he went. Disbanded his organization because there can be no organization this time. There can be no organized church. There can be no organized business. There can be nothing can be organized. You cannot organize in nature. If you're organizing nature, you're organizing against nature. You need to be free to move. You don't know when the Hollywood fires are coming to burn down your house. You need to be free to be where you're meant to be. All the people who didn't get burnt out of Los Angeles or California, they all moved somewhere else before the fire. And just today I see in the news that because of these hearings that are going on in Washington at the moment, now a military helicopter has collided with a passenger plane, yeah, and these have ended up upside down in the river. And so it's a sign of what's going on in Washington. It's like the fires in California. There's a problem in Washington, yeah. There's a problem, and it's a military versus a civilian infrastructure. There's a war going on, and who's going to win that war? And this sign is a sign. The military's going to all get killed. The civilians, they're all going to be upside down, yeah, because they all got it wrong, That's the end of them. And so the ones in the military who are wrong, they're going to go. They're all going to get thrown out. And the civilian people, they're all going to go. They're all going to get thrown out. All the ones playing games, because the people that died, I don't know about all of them, but I did hear that most of the people on board the aeroplane were ice figure skaters. And to be an ice figure skater as a kind of an occupation, as an art, is a bit frivolous. It's not serious, yeah? And God doesn't like frivolous stuff. The world is a serious place, and people who are frivolous are just wasting their time here, and they'll go to the dark side. Something will happen to them, yeah? And something happened to these people, and the people are being frivolous in the capital too. These bullies and people with JFK, RFK Jr., JFK, the video that caught this plane crash, they've got it on video, was on top of the JFK play center of some kind, playing center. also a sign. So the whole thing's a sign. And it just means that all those people in Washington just finished now. Yeah? They're all going to go belly up, upside down, crash and burn. That's what's going to happen there. Because justice is coming to the USA. Democracy, justice is coming to the USA. And thank God for that. And hopefully, in a time, it will spread to the rest of the world, to the UK, to Germany, to the EU. The EU needs to go. There's no purpose of the EU. The EU needs to go. We need to go back to individual countries. It's all too complicated. It's all AI. You need AI just to deal with it. And so it's necessary to simplify now. Just nations, no EU. No EU. It's time. What's that song? Hey, hey, my. We don't want no AI. Or to the picture that meets the eye.